Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. How you doing, guys? Or the Unplugged channel. Little update for you. Some of you mentioned my driveway was looking a bit tatty, all the weeds poking out through the bricks and stuff like that. Well, I've given it a good clean with the patio attachment washer. Tried to blast it all out. I bought some sweeping sand. I got a whacker, you know, like the plate machine that you can hire, coming on Wednesday. I'm going to give it one more blast out on Monday to really get all of the mud out of the gaps of the brick. Then put the sweeping sand in and go over it with a whacker. I've already put weed killer on it as well, but I did that after I'd weeded it out, after I blasted it out. And that should keep it nice for a little while. Never buy a brick driveway is my advice to you. They need maintaining. And this is a big brick driveway, and it's just a hell of a lot of work, and I don't like work. I like things to be, I would napalm my whole back garden and just tarmac it if I could. I'd have one little pot plant there or something like that. Not a potted plant, not a pot plant. Not that kind of pot, John. What else is going on? Got some stuff turned up from Auto Glim. They've got a polishing compound coming. So this is like a single product that you can use, like a single stage cut and finish type product, but it's in their UHD consumer line, which is it's a huge thing for Auto Glim. It's a huge thing, and I'll tell you why later on in the channel. And they've released a ceramic spray. I can see the exposure's lousy on the camera. Let me get out of the way. Let's do, look, watch this. This camera has a little bit of a problem with exposure. There you go. And it has a problem with focus as well. Jesus, come on. There we go. So they've got a ceramic spray out as well, which I think they needed also. Not used either of them yet. I've just gone and bought a ton of single stage cut and finish mid-range compounds or polishes, whatever you want to call them. And we're going to do a big comparison on that, because we've done a high cutting compound, we've done the best finishing polish, but we've not done the best mid-range single stage cut and finish pure abrasive, not all in one. The sniff. So I think that'll be a really good video, and it's a video I'm really looking forward to as well. It's going to be a massive lineup. But the thing I wanted to talk about in this video, sorry, you can see me looking at the viewfinder. This camera takes really nice crystal clear footage, but it's not without its issues. It's not. Let's get rid of that viewfinder so I can focus on you. I need it actually, just to frame the shot. Now, dream garage. So I have, at the moment, I've got the old Black Beauty or Black Betty or Stealth Bomber, the E36 328i Sport, which is staying. You know, I'm going to keep that car for life. That's in the paint shop at the moment. We'll do some videos on that when I get it back, but I'm carless, which is another thing. For me, I'm not in a position to collect cars. I've been there and done that before in other parts of my life, and I've had 4 or 5 cars. I can't maintain 4 or 5 cars, and I always want to have them clean and looking nice. And you're forever chasing your tail, and you've got to tax them and run them, and you've got to sort out the mechanicals and keep them going. It can become your life just keeping them on there. It's too many. So the maximum I can have, really, the Golf doesn't count because that's just the family wagon that I don't even clean and rip properly, or, you know, that's fine. But I can have 2 cars. Now, if I'm keeping the E36 328i Sport, that's like my old car, and it needs TLC. It's going to need probably some suspension work next. Yeah, a new exhaust and all that, but I like that. That's part of the enjoyment of having that car. But what else do I want? Well, I want a modern car that doesn't need renewing, doesn't need all this work. I want something that's just functional, and it's going to be good for a few years. So my dream combo, and a car that I can also take to a track. You know, it's not going to get tracked every day of the week and blasted, but, you know, a couple of times a year, take it around Goodwood or something like that. And it's that car that I'm trying to think of what should be that car, and that's what I want help from you guys in this particular video. And here's all the things that I'm going through in my head, the sort of options. I'm just going to bring the camera in even closer so we can see it. Just worried about the shine on the board. Right. So, list of possible cars to complement this. I'd like it ideally to be able to fit in my garage, so I could put 2 in here if I needed to as well. Now the first thing would be the E46 M3. The E46 M3. I had one before, had quite a few E46s before. Lovely looking car, the last of the old-fashioned type styling where you don't have the full moulded bumper on the front, you know, with gaps in it, almost like a face mask almost. Just has the lower lip bumper and the rounded bonnet and the headlights. The side profile of the car is beautiful. It's inside is lovely, the design of them. The balance of that car is amazing. It's a car you can track. It's a car that's a lot more simple than modern cars. It's reasonably light compared to the modern stuff that they're bringing out. Just lovely. Now a good one will cost you between about 15 and 20 grand now, maybe even more. For a manual, you know, I'd want a manual without a sunroof. Don't know why I've got a thing about not having sunroofs. What are the downsides? Most of those E46 M3s need some element of restoration, even if the owner says they're mint. They never are. It's underneath. There's a few mint ones out there. The problem with them, you know, again, it's another 20-year-old car in a lot of cases, or 17 years old, something like that. And lots of components need renewing. So I think it doesn't complement this car so well. And I'll end up having 2 cars that need constant renewal. Although I'm never going to rule out getting an E46 M3 again at some stage. Why? They've just got a really good balance to the chassis, a nice amount of power, the hydraulic rack, rear wheel drive, look great. Just lovely cars, aren't they, really? Beautiful. Plenty of power, and I love the way that engine is. That engine, the S54, what an engine that is. It has to be ragged, and it's metallic rasp. Just awesome. So much pleasure in that car, but I'm going to rule that out because it's going to need too much TLC. The next one, you've got the E92 M3. Now that takes, it goes to a V8. It'd have to probably be a manual. It would take us, you know, it's the next step, isn't it? And they're at rock bottom prices now. You can pick those up for about 15 grand, can't you? Quite easily. Maybe 15 to 20 again. I don't really know the prices of those. You tell me. I'm sure you can get them for cheaper than 15, but they probably would be a high miler ones or whatever. They're growing on me, those cars. They look quite nice from certain angles. They're a lot to tax in the UK, but I don't know if all that tax law is changing. There are lots of fuel. But I don't know, there's just something about them. They're almost not old enough, but it would still, on paper, that would be a really good option, but it's just probably not the car for me. So I'm not going to go with that. Then you've got the F80 M3. Very hard to find a manual one of those. Well, not that hard, but the problem with those is they're too big and they're too heavy. You know, I like the idea, this isn't a family car for me, I like the idea of a coupe. I like the idea that something closer to 1,500 kilos, you know. And these, I just see them as 5 Series. They're just like a 5 Series to me whenever I look at them. Don't get me wrong, I think they look amazing. Very tempting as well, very nice. But I always see the M3 as a coupe. Don't know why. I just see the M3 as a coupe to me. So that was a real option because it's got plenty of power. You're probably looking at 25 all the way up to 35, aren't you? Depending if you want a comp or not. But no, that's not for me. Too heavy. It's moving into that category of turbo barge, which is not what I want. Now, it's F82, it's the M4, isn't it? I don't know about these model designators, I'm not very good with that. Sorry. I think that's an M4. Now, the M4, I just like the idea of a coupe and a competition. I really love the M4 competition alloys, so it'd have to be an M4 comp. Probably manual, you know. And you're probably looking at about 30 odd grand, aren't you, for one of those, for a good comp, maybe more. They look amazing. They're still quite heavy, so, but it's a coupe. It's kind of more what I want. that's a real option for me, that car. Really is. And with the release of the new, is it G Series M4 and M3, there's going to be a lot of these on the market, and the price might even dip down in the next 12 months. So that is an option that I can't rule out. And I think they look really nice as well from most angles. And it's a good track weapon, isn't it? What's the downsides? Well, the M cars are quite pricey to run. Going to guzzle fuel. Okay. Not going to do a massive amount of miles in it. It's going to be quite a lot to insure. And when you have to renew your discs on it or any parts, they can be quite expensive for the M cars. So the negatives really, I mean, the positives are the looks and the performance. And it's rear wheel drive, which is what I really want. Looks and performance amazing. Negative, running costs. Running costs. Especially tracking one. You know, you get tyres and stuff. But, it's not that bad. I could probably afford one of these. I couldn't afford to buy one right now, but by the end of, in 12 months time, I reckon I could afford one. I've still got quite a lot of the money for the M140 that I sold, put aside for my next car. So if I can save a bit of money, you know, I might be able to get one of these. It's right at the limit. What's the next one? The next one is, what is the designator for this? I don't know. What is the designator for the 2 Series? Oh my God, I'm going to get shot down in flames. I don't know what it is. The 1 Series is F20, isn't it? F22. What's the 2 Series? I don't know. It's not F40, is it? Anyway, let's just say 2 Series. So the obvious one is the M2. Would it need to be a comp or a non-comp? You can save quite a lot of money if you go non-comp. I think I want a comp. I think they just look nicer, and the seats and the engine, there's a big difference, isn't there, in your head, or at least in my head. I love the seats in the comp, and I like the facelifted front, just looks a little bit nicer. The alloy wheels that come with the comp. So yeah, I wish I knew what that designator was. That's going to bug me now. It's not 30, is it? What is that? Oh, never mind. Now you're looking at about 25 to 30 for a non-comp, and you're looking at about 35 plus, or maybe even all the way up to like 39 for a comp, aren't you? You know what I mean? So that M2, the downside with the M2 is it's held onto its price because it's what people want. They don't want the big, heavy cars so much. You want like a nimble coupe. So it's a very popular car, this. The downside is the interior is a bit basic and the cost is a little bit high. But I think they look amazing. I saw one the other day parked up at my sister's estate, just looking at it. It just looked amazing. It's what you want, and it's not overly heavy. It's not light, is it? But I think you're talking, what are you talking about, 1,600 kilos or something like that? Don't know. Something like that, lighter than these. So it's more in the spirit of what I'm looking at. The downside is I don't think I could afford one right now. I'm not into buying cars on PCPs and stuff like that. Don't know why. Just I'm from a different generation. I like to get the money in the bank, and if I can afford to buy it, I'll buy it. But maybe we'll do a PCP or something. Who knows? So expensive for what it is. The M4 will be faster, cheaper, and much higher quality as well. Not that much heavier, you know, that's probably about 1,700 or so, I'm guessing. A little bit heavier. Expensive, but more what I'm looking for. So both these are viable. What's the next thing? The next thing, M240i. The M240i. Now, it has a completely different engine, doesn't it? This has the B58, and this has the, is it S55? So the 235 had the N55 engine, which was okay. I had a 135 with that engine. It was a good engine, but for some reason, a bit like with the 1 Series, with 2017 I think onwards, they upgraded it to the 240 and stuck the B58 engine in it. The B58 engine is awesome. Very, it's so powerful. I would argue it's every bit as good as the S55, although, I don't know, someone else on engines will go mad when you say something like that, but very similar sort of output, if you like. So the 240 would be just as every bit, or won't have the finesse, won't have the brakes of the M2 comp. It won't have the diff will be different, won't it? The suspension will be different. That will handle a bit better, but essentially there's not much between them. And this is it's probably for me is going to be a 35 to 40 grand car, whereas this I could probably get for 17 to 20. So it's virtually half the price. Doesn't look quite as good without the flare arches and stuff like that, but definitely viable, the old M240. Beyond that, John, there's a slight bias here towards BMW. Yes, because I want rear wheel drive. The Jap stuff doesn't tick the boxes for me. There's so few options out there. I'm looking for like a coupe, and it's just BMW. It's just what I like. Yeah, if there was other options, I might try them, but there really isn't. If you think there's other options, rear wheel drive, coupe, or maybe a saloon, reasonably light, you know, somewhere between 10 to 30 grand, let me know. The only other car that I am vaguely interested in, and it's not for any of these, it goes completely against everything I've said up to now, is the E34 5 Series. A sport model, a manual sport model. Now, 535 or a 540, good luck getting one of those. Or an M5, you know, where you fork out a lot of money. Just because I love them, I think I drool and crave after one of those. Problem is, you buy one of those, most of them are going to need suspension and underside restoration, and most of them are probably going to need paintwork, full resprays. So you could be hurling like 15 grand at these cars before you even get going. And they're difficult to maintain as well. So it's a bit like having two E36s. It would be a car that you'd be shelling out, but that might be a long-term thing when I win the lottery. I love daydreaming about cars. When I win the lottery and I've got a dream garage, like a stable, you know, a long stable with all these different hatchways for all the different cars, that would go in one of them. And that would do me. If I won the lottery, there's a Porsche would be in my lineup, you know, like a 911R or something I really like, or a GT3, 911 GT3, or Cayman GT4, something like that. Incredible, but never going to get one of those. Well, never say never, but not in the next 5 years. So this is my little thing. So really I need to make the choice between these three here, and I'm keeping my eye out, but I think the front runner really for me for the next, as an interim car, would be an M240 that you could have a lot of fun with. Ticks the boxes for me. With, doesn't need to be mega quick, 350 brake horsepower, whatever torque it's got is more than enough. It's more than enough. It's a little coupe, it's a simple car. You stick a set of good tyres on it, upgrade the brake fluid, put some decent pads in it, and everything else. You could argue it benefit from a quaif or a different diff, but that's only really when you're on the bitter limit. That's it. So let me know what you think about cars. I think most of you know how I kind of, my bias in cars. What would you suggest to be a good car for me? And put in the comments what would be your combo if you could have two cars that serve all your needs. It's a bit of a funny word, but there we go. So just an informal video today, guys. Hope you're all doing well. It's a bit chilly today. Couch to 5K. I'm on week 7. So today's my down day. Tomorrow I start week 7, which is a 25-minute jog, but I ended week 6 and I've done that 25-minute jog. Very difficult, and I'm slow, yes. That's the one thing I want to try and build up now because it's just continual runs now, 3:25 minutes, 3:28s, 3:30 minutes, and then you finish the program. I want to try and increase the speed, but if I start off too quick, I cramp up or stiffen up, and then the rest of it I have to slow right down and like crawl home. So I have to start slow and try and save myself for the last 10 minutes, and then if I've got some strength in the last 10 minutes, my legs seem to, I go through a pain barrier and my legs seem to be okay, and then I can dig in, grit my teeth and go a bit faster. But I want to try and increase the pace. I'm running the same little course, so I set little mental markers about where I need to be at certain times. But I'm basically crawling around, so yeah. But really enjoying it, actually, really enjoying the challenge. Can't wait for the COVID lockdown restrictions to end. I want to go swimming on my off days and try and get myself healthy again for the summer. So things are good, guys. Hope you're doing all okay. I encourage you to start that Couch to 5K program, because literally it's a 2-month program. If you do a run day and a day off, in 2 months' time, it will get you running for half an hour. You'll drop weight, you'll feel a lot better, you'll feel stronger, and it's a nice, slow, gentle introduction, constructed by experts, you know what I mean? So just follow the program. You don't have to think about what am I going to do, where I'm going to go. Just follow, just plug in your headphones, fire it up. Hi, I'm Michael Johnson. Welcome to the 5K run. Let it do what it does and just follow what it tells you. You'll be in good hands. Take care, guys. Good to see you as always. Loads coming on the channel soon, and yeah, lots to come. Oh, a big announcement as well. Shall I publish this today? Probably already come. The announcement on the training. The training is going to be going live on the 15th of March, probably, which is tomorrow. I'll put a video out on the main channel on it, and it will be heavily discounted, this training course, for the first 10 days. So if you're going to do it, you can sign up for it within those first 10 days, and it's going to cost 19 quid. You don't have to do it immediately. Once you've paid for that course, you've got 60 days to do it. But it's discounted down to 19 quid for the first 10 days. After that, it goes up to 119 quid. So you can do it. You can pay a little bit extra to have lifetime access to it as well. So you've got it for the rest of your life. So stay tuned to the main Forensics Detailing channel and my Facebook page, Forensics Detailing channel on Facebook, and like that page so you follow it and get notified of any future posts. And you can come and follow me on Instagram as well. And don't forget to subscribe to this backup channel if you've not done so already. There's the plug. You should have done that at the beginning. Anyway, you know the drill by now. See you soon, guys. Bye.